I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. Here is the thriller from Manila, and that is the complaint. I've actually downloaded the complaint that Cassie, who's Cassandra Ventura, filed on I think it was the 16th of December, against Sean Combs, who's also known as Puff Daddy. And the engineer has put the actual masthead of that complaint up on the screen. And I have to tell you that, as you can see, it says Cassandra Ventura plaintiff, Sean Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, Epic Records, Combs Enterprises, and Dole Corp. Anyway, and it gives a case number, 23 CV 10098. And she is demanding a jury trial. Now, it says, Mr. Engineer, if you could scroll, what I want to do with this particular complaint, hold it right there, Mr. Engineer, bring it back down a little bit, where it says warning, trigger warning. I want to ask the question whether or not T.D. Jakes, who was a part in this complaint, who was with Puff Daddy on his birthday, who's been to the Puff Daddy freak parties a large number of times over the years, does this complaint allege that T.D. Jakes participated in a gang rape of Cassandra Ventura, or maybe some of the other young starlets that Puff Daddy had control over? Did T.D. Jakes, the Bishop T.D. Jakes of the Potter's House in Dallas, Texas, did he participate, or does the complaint allege that T.D. Jakes participated in the gang rape of Cassandra Ventura? Now, as you can see right there, the words in red, and I want to state as well, I'm not going to read this entire 36-page complaint. I'm going to read just a couple pages because it's just too pornographic. And it gives a warning to anybody that's going to read it that you're going to meet some really ugly, pornographic, raw sex talk that Puff Daddy, that T.D. Jakes, and Cassandra, and sex workers engaged in for years. So this alleges that T.D. Jakes has participated in a gang rape of this young girl, Cassandra Ventura. It says, trigger warning. This document gives the United States District Court Cassandra Ventura against Sean Combs. And it says that this document contains highly graphic information of a sexual nature, including sexual assault, which it should say rape. And I'll go on to read more. It says, plaintiff Cassandra Ventura, Miss Ventura, hereby alleges and for her complaint against defendant Sean Combs, Mr. Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, Epic Records, Combs Enterprises, LLC, and Dole Corporations 1 through 10, together defendant corporations, and together with Mr. Combs, defendant as follows. Preliminary statement. Now I'm gonna protect you from the ugly part of this. I'm just not gonna share it with you. I have too much respect for myself to go into detail of what's in here. What it is alleged that Puff Daddy and T.D. Jakes did to this girl. But I'm going to at least give you the opportunity to read it for yourself. I'll give you the case number. You can go online and find it for yourself. But I'm going to just open it up so you can see the kind of person that T.D. Jakes is, and more specifically about the people that are still supporting him and the people that are supporting him, knowing all along, even from the days of Eddie Long, that T.D. Jakes was a homosexual. And there had been homosexual charges brought against him by a young boy in his church, and he paid hush money. I'm going to protect you from all of that. I'll just read the preliminary statement. Number one, defendant Sean Combs is a rapper and record executive popularly known by his stage name Puff Daddy. Mr. Combs came to fame in the early 1990s with his record label Bad Boy Records. He rose to prominence in the music and entertainment industry over the decades and is regularly referred to as a hip-hop mogul. In 2022, Mr. Combs received the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards. During his acceptance speech, Mr. Combs stated, "I have to give a special shout out, thank you, love to the people that was really there for me." He named a number of people before adding, also Cassie, for holding me down in dark times. Love, he said. Number 3, the truth, however, the complaint states, is that Cassie, Miss Cassandra Ventura, was held down by Mr. Combs and endured over a decade of his violent behavior and disturbed demands. For Mrs. Ventura, the dark times were those she spent trapped by Mr. Combs in a cycle of abuse, violence, and sex trafficking, among other violent and unlawful acts. Mr. Combs. Item number 1, Mr. Combs raped. Now this complaint also alleged that T.D. Jakes allegedly participated in the rape of Qatar. He is the bishop of the Potter's House, well known. Anyway, it says Mr. Combs raped Miss Ventura in her own home after she tried to leave him. Number 2, Mr. Combs often punched, beat, kicked, and stomped on Miss Ventura, resulting in bruises, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding. Now, this is just the lifestyle of a rapper. I'm not sure this is really even important. This is not new news. Rappers, Gay-Z, Jay-Z, all of them, all boast about how they beat, kick, stomp, and how they treat women. They all do that. So I'm not sure how relevant this is. But this is the mantra of every rapper, and also those who aspire to be rappers. But number 3, Mr. Combs blew up a man's car after he learned that he was romantically interested in Miss Ventura. Number 4, Mr. Combs forced Miss Ventura to engage in sex acts with male sex workers. Now, this is a little bit harsh here. Please forgive me if this is disturbing. I know this is disturbing, but I need to point out that this complaint alleges that Bishop Thomas Dexter Jakes of the Potter's House participated in these activities. And so I can't whitewash it. If it bothers you, please forgive me. We gotta let the world know about Thomas Dexter Jakes. Everybody knows about the rappers. We got to let the world know that the church, and by the way, Thomas Dexter Jakes is not the only preacher out there that's participating in this kind of stuff. Eddie Long died from it, but Benny Hinn is just as bad, and the women such as Joyce Meyer and Paula White, they're off the chain. And the Lord is not pleased the fact that people are afraid to say it. But I'm not. So here goes. This is a little bit risque. Mr. Combs forced Miss Ventura to engage in sex act with male sex workers while Mr. Combs was masturbating and filming the encounters. Number 5, Mr. Combs ran out of his apartment with a firearm in pursuit of a rival industry executive whom he learned was nearby. Number 6, Mr. Combs demanded that Miss Ventura carry his firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is. And Mr. Combs introduced Miss Ventura to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance abuse and required her to prepare procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions. And so I think that's enough of a reading of that. It's 36 pages, and it gets dirtier and uglier as it goes along, and it includes the bishop of the Potter's house, T.D. Jakes. It includes them, or him rather. I wanted to be able to express that. You can go online and read it for yourself. The complaint number is there if you know how to do that thing with the computer. But this is par for the course for rappers. We are not necessarily alarmed that Combs was doing this to Ventura, but I think a whole lot of people have said, Cat Williams have said that Combs loved to party and he loves men. But the thing that we also need to understand is T.D. Jakes loves men as well, 4 men at a time. These two, they just love men. This complaint alleges, I'm not making this up, this complaint alleges and that T.D. Jakes was there when Puff Daddy had porn stars, men who are male prostitutes, they call them male sex workers, would be having sex with concern. And listen, if this bothers you, please forgive. Let's go to the Lord and pray. Heavenly Father, this is so ugly. And probably some people would just find it just too vulgar to report. But I'm going to ask you to give me mercy. I'm going to ask you to give me literary grace here so I can just tell what T.D. Jakes has been up to and his deep, if you will, sexual appetite for men, having sex, T.D. Jakes and Puff Daddy. Lord, please let people know my heart that I'm not here using these ugly acts somehow or another because I'm rejoicing. So going back to put Puff Daddy back up there with Jakes, these two men, they have an insatiable. So what the complaint alleges is that Puff Daddy would hire men to have sex with Cassie. Her name is Cassandra. And he would watch it and film it. And that Jakes was a part of that. And that's the world that we live in. I thought you would need to understand, because a lot of y'all are saying it ain't true, and a lot of people want to beat up on Cassie Ventura. And I'm not sure her life is safe right now. These people would kill you. No, these people don't play. But did Bishop Thomas Dexter Jakes of the Potter's house allegedly participate in a gang rape of Cassie Ventura or other women? And should there be a protest march held against the Potter's house with signs stating that the bishop of the Potter's house has been accused, allegedly, of gang rape, and yet wants to stand in that pulpit with that dirty mouth that he has used to give pleasure, that T.D. Jakes has used his mouth to give pleasure to prostitutes, to sex workers, and to Puff Daddy, that they've used he wants to use that same dirty mouth to so-called preach the gospel. Should not this be made? Should not the world know about this? The man who uses his mouth to give pleasure, sexual pleasures, to men, now wants to preach the gospel on Sunday morning. Tell you what, it ain't over with yet. There's more to come. I'm James Eben Manning, everybody. I am the Lord's servant.